Yo, assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to episode 26 of the Thoughtful Banter podcast. I am your host, Mahdi, along here with my co-host.
You're supposed to say my name.
Hussein.
Yes, sir.
I always feel like wrong. Like I shouldn't introduce you. I'm like he a grown man. He can like say his own name. My bad. My co-host Hussein, wonderful co-host here today. As I said previously, episode 26. Man, I can't believe it's a movie. You know, like episode 25 is a fourth of 100. 100 is a pretty big number. So I can't wait till we get to that episode. Before we start this episode off fully, before we dive into the thoughtful banter that's about to concur here. Am I using that word right? Occur here. We will first be shouting out the honorable patrons.
Yes, sir. So first we got Ali, Ahmad, Latifa, Ali, T-Jam, Justin, and Muhammad. Big shout out to those guys. Thank you guys so much for supporting and being loyal members, and the reason why we're able to buy a lot of the new equipment and things that we do. So
yeah, as you can see, the production is up, bro. First of all, 25, I think, like almost like 25,000 views on Instagram.
I know our reels have been going a little crazy. I've been looking at them like, it's not even crazy for real, but like,
nah, it's pretty crazy considering how many followers we have.
Yeah,
it is.
I don't know, you've been tagging them right or something. I was like, I don't know. I remember what, like, the first reel that like popped off. I checked my Instagram, and you know how, so I have both the Thoughtful Banter account and my account on my Instagram. And so you know how if you have messages or something or notifications on another account, at the bottom of your screen, like the bottom right hand side, you just see the profile picture and then like the red dot underneath. That's to show you have notifications. So I see the notification thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, we got like a few likes on the newest draw. And I hold it to see how much we have, and it says like 600, and I'm like, whoa. I was like, yo, this is broken.
Yeah, you know, I realized I don't have any clout when I was on the Thoughtful Banter Instagram, and I saw people who I never met liking my stuff, and I was like, I don't know these people. Who the heck is that? And I'm like, oh, that's what it
feels like.
That's what like big accounts do all the time. They interact with new people.
Yeah,
but we appreciate all the love. You know, of course, just shout out to you guys. Shout out to the supporters who make the podcast possible.
Absolutely.
I'm really trying to I think I'm kind of getting a hang of how to get content noticed. Mm-hmm. I'm now trying to learn how to retain.
Yeah, Mahdi is our maestro. He's our magician.
Maestro?
Yeah, he's our magician.
What does that mean?
Like magic man, magician, yeah.
Interesting. This is a new word I'm adding to my
wizard.
Artillery. Nice.
Anyways,
I like that, maestro. Yeah, I'm trying to just get retention now though. Like I know it's normal. I know like if something gets 1 million views, you know, even if it's good, I'll offer you water because your throat's on to dry. Oh, that's why. Don't finish. I want that back though. I
was like, why is this cup of water here?
No,
I was like, you want that in the shot?
No. It's not. Yeah, this aesthetic water. No, you like what? Earlier, and I was like, oh, he's thirsty.
It's so funny. I didn't even notice. Anyways,
no, like I understand, like if something gets like 100,000 views, for example, like maybe only 1,000 of those people, that's a lot even. Yeah, will like subscribe, you know. But like, I'm just trying to increase those odds. But like, find out. It's very interesting because, for example, like I think a lot of smaller channels, what they do is they just put their name all over the clip, but that doesn't really matter because no one cares what your name is. Yeah, it's like you want to find a way for people to understand, if you want more of this, go to that place.
Come here, yeah.
But not coming at it from a credit point, because that's so corny. Like, bro, you're not cool. Do you think you're cool enough for some other page to snag this? You don't have
credit yet, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like repost it. You're not Joe Rogan, but yeah, I'm just trying to figure all that.
Yikes.
How's life? Wait, right? Yikes at Joe Rogan.
Yes. Anyways,
we have to talk about this, bro. Every time I bring up Joe Rogan, your opinion is just solely like, yikes.
And every time I say yikes, your opinion is like hardcore dogged. Is it
dogged?
Fanboying. He's like, is he really that bad?
Joe Rogan, listen. Joe Rogan is like, is he really that bad though? Like, like
I mean,
I like Joe Rogan.
I'm kind of like lukewarm on Joe Rogan. I'm not like an absolute hater. I think some of the things he says are dumb, but I don't think they're any more dangerous than like what's said on Fox News or like
probably a lot safer than anything said on Fox News.
A lot, I'm not sure, but anyways,
because at least Joe Rogan gets other people on. Like Fox News is if
bro,
people
Fox
say
News
Joe
has
Rogan,
guests every day, bro. What are you talking about?
I mean, they have guests.
I'm
every
dead
day.
serious.
Yeah, I mean,
they have multiple guests every day.
But like, for example, like Joe Rogan, he'll have a conservative on, but he'll also have people like he had this lady who like the whole episode they're just talking about Palestine. Mm-hmm. For example, he'll have a vegan on, even though he's like a mad carnivore type beat, he'll have a vegan on and he'll have a carnivore on. Like I mean, no one can say what his intentions are, but judging from his actions, I do think that Joe Rogan is someone who at least believes that he cares about the truth and like hearing multiple perspectives.
How did we get on Joe Rogan?
I don't know.
I mean,
I always just put some respect on his name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I heard you mumbling Joe's name.
Just yikes. I mean, he's just yikes.
Sorry for going to Connor.
Anyways.
It's my habit.
What do we got for today, Macty? What's the plan?
I mean, well, I thought we could banter a little bit and then answer some questions. Answer some replies we got. So on the Instagram story, I sent it to you.
Let me pull that up.
Jamie. Yeah, Jamie pulled that up. I asked the fans on Instagram, what's the hardest part about being Muslim in America? And we got some great responses. And I wanted to go through these actually. And I guess now is a good time to do so. I just want to preference this kind of discussion. Give me a second. Let me clear my thoughts. So you guys asked us questions on Instagram, and we have answers. So we asked you guys.
Kind of. We have partial answers.
We have words.
We have some insight.
We have words.
Yeah, a couple words.
Yeah, that's it. I can guarantee you words. But I think it's interesting and important discussions to be had, especially because the point of this podcast, as we just want to keep on reiterating, is we want to provide a space for Muslim youth and have conversations that maybe should be held in the masjid, but just can't be held at the masjid.
Or maybe shouldn't be held in the masjid, but
or maybe
should still be held somewhere.
For people who go to the masjid.
Yeah.
So we asked you guys, like, what's the hardest part about being in America? Some of y'all were very honest, alhamdulillah. And we just want to talk about that. Would you like to go first? Like, which one stuck out to you?
No. I would not like to go first. Yeah, no, pick something, bro.
I saw one here, Cap. It says halal restaurants. It's not like where do you live? Idaho. Even then, like
I mean, it depends. Some people are very, very, very strict about only going to restaurants, like going to restaurants that only serve halal meat, and are like, and even like not only just serving halal meat, but also being Muslim owned. So like, if that's what he means by halal restaurants, then I don't know a lot of those, so maybe he's right.
That's true. But like where halal came from is such a like. My parents told me that back in the day to like get halal food, they'd have to literally find a halal butcher,
like a butcher, yeah, like
or
one dude
buy an actual living animal,
yeah,
and pay to kill it on the guy's land. Like my dad would be like, yeah, I had to go kill the goat, slaughter, and use his facility, and pack the meat, and like of course I give it to all my friends as well.
Yeah, it wasn't just for like my family.
It was a big deal.
It was for my family, your family, the family down the street.
And people would drive.
The family 45 minutes away.
And people would drive long distances for this. Actually, on the Muslim Vibe podcast, Hasib was talking about this. Like just people driving hours just to get like halal meat.
Yeah.
When now it's like at Costco, there's halal beef, there's halal lamb.
Yeah.
Even at your favorite restaurant.
Oh, there's some good halal stuff at Costco too, bro.
Yeah, Costco is different.
I did
not want to know about what goes into making the prices
I
so low.
did not
though.
know it was well. They take a loss. They pretty much take a loss or break even on most of their produce. What they really make profit from is the memberships. Yeah,
like Netflix.
Yeah, so the membership
Netflix before Netflix,
but not Netflix, because Netflix has been hiking up the price of their membership.
Yeah,
and the quality of like film or in movies and stuff that we get on Netflix is getting worse.
Yeah.
But anyways, don't get me started on Netflix.
Yeah, I've been using HBO a lot more.
But have you seen? I read this article, and apparently they have at Costco. They have like this deal, this meal deal with the hot dog. That's really cheap. I don't remember the prices off the top of my head, but basically one CEO suggested that they adjust the price for inflation because they were like, we're losing money on this. And the guy, I guess the big CEO, like the big owner, he threatened to kill him.
What?
Yeah, he was like, don't you dare.
What?
Don't you dare change that price.
That's cold.
It's super cold.
That's very cold.
Yeah, plus Costco, they pay their employees really well. The benefits for their employees are really good.
I know you like that socialist saying.
I'm with Costco. I'm with Costco.
That's awesome. I didn't know that about Costco. But
anyways, back to the point.
if you live like in a remote place, so for example,
yeah.
maybe it's not adjusting.
Well, he said a restaurant specifically. So,
have you heard of Silver Diner, brother?
So I was like, bro, do you hear what I just said, bro? Silver Diner is not Muslim owned,
bro. See, some people make halal harder for themselves than Islam ass, bro.
I mean, I agree with you.
Some people, bro,
don't give me.
Some people go to a restaurant, bro, especially Iranians. I'm gonna back it up. Hold up, Iranians be going to a place that, Allah, do you know what halal is to the waiter? And be like, they're like testing the waiter, like, Islam. Did you make wudu before you serve my meal? It's like, bro,
you know how I feel about this.
Yeah.
I'm the worst person to talk to about this.
I know.
I kind of get upset sometimes, so don't get me started.
Actually, I want to get you started. Like, what's upsetting about it, particularly for you?
Because it's upsetting because it's not supposed to be that difficult, and it's made that difficult. And for example, one thing that really, really bothers me, and I've seen this happen before with some people I've been around, is when like a group of people are going to a restaurant and everyone's Muslim, everyone's Shia, right? And they're all like, yeah, this place is halal, like it's all good, right? That's all you need. That's all you need, right? Yeah. That is literally all you need. But then there's one person who like gets a veggie burger because you're like, oh brother, I can't be sure. And I'm like, I don't know. To me, it feels insulting almost. It's like,
it's a little pretentious too, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm better than you
yeah,
guys. I'm
like, bro, we're all Muslim, we're all Shia, we're all operating with the best knowledge that we have. Like no one's lying, right? No one here is lying. I like some people have even worked at some of these places, Yeah.
It's so OCD.
It's it gives me OCD vibes. Yeah, I agree.
I think it's a cultural thing. I remember there was some controversy at the masjid last year for Muharram. There was a sheikh, and he was talking about this specific subject. He was talking about people like double checking,
triple, quadruple checking,
things like if something is halal or haram, or if something's najas, and like especially like from Iranians, for example, right? Like that's the background I've seen. It's very common, like with Iranians, just casually. Like the mindset is, I'm gonna help you out. Like, oh, I don't want us to eat haram food accidentally, because eating haram food by itself is the damage.
Yeah.
But the mindset that the scholar was sharing was essentially, don't quote me on it. That's why I'm not saying his name. But like, the damage isn't necessarily that you are literally eating haram food, but it's the damage if you're doing your due diligence. And you eat haram food unknowingly, the harm isn't on you.
Yeah. And
all you have to do is do your due diligence. And Islam sets a clear parameter for that. And after that point, Islam set
the due diligence is not hard.
Yeah.
It's not like
why you
investigative
pushing?
Sleuth work. That's not what it is. You're not you're not supposed to be a detective out here.
Bro, uncles stake out behind the restaurant, bro, seeing which truck are unloading the meat.
He's like, does he have on the kufi?
Yeah.
Anyways, especially living in America, the likelihood that even the Muslim-owned restaurant that you go to regularly and the owner and he's a practicing Shia guy, the likelihood that potentially even some of his meat is not completely, with it is very high. Like, if you think about it.
Really? I don't want to think about it. What do you mean?
I mean, like, bro, meat is slaughtered in Creekstone, for example.
Yeah.
Was it Australia? Is
Australia. Creekstone.
We know that they're certified halal.
Yeah.
That's literally all we know.
Yeah, we don't know who's certified.
We don't know who's certified.
We don't know what they're really doing.
We don't know what they're in that factory doing. So at a certain point, like, you're gonna kill yourself if you actually take this to its logical conclusion.
So you're just kind of saying,
like, you're just never gonna eat meat. Which, I mean, if you're okay with that,
I mean,
I'm fine.
I'm not
I guess
really okay with it.
But like, it's not supposed to be that difficult, you know.
But you kind of
also
just blew my mind.
contaminants. Like, we don't know what kind of contaminants are. We have no idea. We have no idea. So I'm like, bro, if you're gonna take it that far, take it that far.
You like you want there to be a commitment.
A logical.
You want
consistency.
a logical consistency. I feel you on that. But
yeah.
you just kind of like made me think about it too much now. So we're gonna change the subject.
Now you're like,
now I'm
not gonna eat it.
If I do know though, if I'm even thinking that it's possible, should I even? So I'm just moving on.
But you don't know. That's the thing. But but I'm saying if you follow every,
if my Shia brother Hussein says halal, subhanallah. That's it. You gotta pick the next one.
Okay, you picked the easy one. Anyways,
I picked the first one. I didn't like find all of them and then pick the easiest. I picked the first one.
Okay, so what question did you ask exactly? Because I'm looking at one that I need to know that.
So like, what's the hardest part about being Muslim in the West?
Oh, okay. So this question, we've kind of talked about this question before. Which one comes first?
That's funny.
So
that was funny.
Western/American. Wait.
That's how you read that? You philosopher?
What do you mean?
I thought he meant it like, out of all the problems, which one came first?
Why would that be?
You're a nerd.
Why would that be your?
Oh, wow. Which one does come first? No, that's not what he meant.
Yes, it is, man.
It not.
Yes, it is. Which one comes first, being Western or being Muslim?
But someone else says something like, sheesh, I don't know where to start. And then they answer. Like, that's what he could have meant. I don't think he's as deep as you think.
Bro, I think it's not that deep.
Okay.
I think I'm right.
Tell
me. Let's assume I'm right, because if I'm wrong, the worst thing that happens is that he gets a laugh. Like, these people actually took me seriously. Anyways. Which one comes first?
Tell us Aristotle.
Anyways, I mean, I honestly, at this question, we've talked about this a little bit. This is kind of what this podcast is about, kind of. I guess carving out that niche or niche, however you pronounce it, for people who maybe don't identify primarily with their Western or American identity, and maybe more want to cultivate that like Islamic practice. Anyways, what comes first? What should come first? Obviously, is like Muslim before anything, right? I don't think that's like ambiguous or hard to parse or something difficult to extract. Controversial. Yeah, I think that's pretty straightforward. Now, the question is, in application of these like principles, how does that actually play out? Now, what that looks like in reality is often where me, Mahdi, and our communities at large, Muslim communities at large, often mess up, because we oftentimes get caught up in the rat race of chasing the American dream and chasing American ideals that don't necessarily align with our Islamic ideals. And that's not to say that getting a good job is bad. And that's not to say that focusing and doing well in your studies is bad. But we ultimately have to remember that all of these things that we're doing, we're striving for a greater cause, which is our afterlife. And if we forget about that, then we truly, truly are no better than all Muslims just chasing the bag. There's no difference between us.
Yeah.
If we don't have that purpose, that guiding our actions, then who really cares how much money you can make? Who really cares how much money making potential you have? Like, your only real true potential is your spiritual potential. And if you're just simply chasing the bag and never cultivating that, you're going to miss a lot. And you're going to look back and you're going to be sad. But anyways.
SubhanAllah. Yeah, you got way deeper than I thought you would. I do think that like what makes this an actual, like,
put your mic close
on the surface level, this is like a stupid question, in the sense that people are like, oh, obviously Islam, as you said, right? But what makes it difficult is also a lot of times we don't even know what Islam is. Can you turn my gain up? I'm like this in the mic.
There you go.
Hello, is this better?
Yeah.
So I think, like on the surface level, it is a very obvious question, but what makes it hard is, for example, many times we don't actually even know what Islam is.
Yeah.
We're doing what we think is culture.
Mm-hmm.
If you are Iranian and you lived in Iran your whole life,
Are you just going in on Iranian?
because I'm Iranian, I'm not going to call out the racist.
I know why.
For example,
It's just
like
funny.
if you come from like if you're in Iran, you came here, you raise kids here, and you're trying to make sure your kids are raised Islamically.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the things you could be doing are just Iranian things.
Yeah.
Because of course your culture impacted the way you understood your religion.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
those things make it
and
difficult.
sometimes it makes it more complicated when there is such a close linkage between culture and religion. Like Iranian culture was heavily impacted by Islamic culture, Shia Muslim culture specifically. Exactly. You know, so especially like I feel honestly, I feel for people, and it's hard kind of to make that distinction, especially when it's so closely connected. What's weird though is when sometimes when they come here, it seems like they keep. I guess it's not weird because what they maintain and what they try to like nurture is that culture that they're conflating with Islam.
Yeah, and even shows up in weird ways, like people trying their hardest not to speak English but trying to speak Farsi, for instance.
I mean, I don't think that's like. I think that's good.
No. I don't mean to say like I think that's good when it comes to raising your kids because you want to make sure that they're going to learn English no matter what. Make sure they learn Farsi. I'm talking about like
especially
adults.
if you have relatives that live over there.
I'm talking about adults and groups of people that are mixed and they're only speaking to Farsi speaking people.
Oh, I see.
And they're acting like they're foreigners when it's like, but you've been here 15 years, or like you made your life here. You're American to an extent, and like that triggers some people. Like, I'm not American. I'm like. Okay, why are you living there? Like you're here for, you're American, bro. You're getting your bag here. Yeah. Whoever's getting you your bag, like you're American.
You are wherever your bag is.
like to an extent, Yeah. It doesn't mean you have to agree with all the evils that happen here. Yeah. We don't either. Okay, like born and raised American.
Exactly.
But you're still American, buddy. You know what I'm saying? So. You're right. I do need to stop hating Iranians this episode. I might lose my Persian card.
I don't know. I don't know if we hit the points that you wanted us to hit in asking the question, but hope you enjoyed listening to us philosophize. I don't know.
And here comes another philosophical question. Mm-hmm. So the prompt is, what's the hardest thing about being a Muslim in America? I'm reading here, stay away from the jounts.
Also, I don't know if you can tell, like me and Matt have like a little bit of like sniffles and stuff. So just forgive us if you hear any
grossing out
or on the mic.
It's the allergies, man. They're hitting me hard.
Bro, it wasn't just before. we'll get to the question. But it wasn't until you were working on Eid, but I went to Shah Najaf for Eid Salat, and it was in a park. And I swear my allergy had not hit me until I walked into that park and my eyes just started stinging. Yeah. I was like,
it hit me Monday too, actually.
Yeah, Monday.
It's like a bunch of pollen and like literally I called out work because I thought I had COVID and I was like, nope, just allergies. Like
you didn't work?
Yesterday.
Oh, yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was about to be heated. I don't know if you heard it in my voice. Anyways, staying away from the jumps. Yes, that is a challenge. Alhamdulillah is not one I struggle with anymore. And the advice I can give you, I can't give you on this podcast. So I think we're gonna skip that one. What do you think? Unless you have something.
I can give them insights.
Okay.
Nah, I mean, first of all, I just want to say that. So there are actually several questions here that pertain to staying away from haram relationships, and I'll address it by saying this. Mm-hmm. You deserve empathy because the temptation of zina is a very particular one. And I was thinking about it on the car right here because I was reading these questions preparing for the podcast. And I thought to myself, why is it so common? Why is it different? And I think the reason it's different is because smoking weed or drinking alcohol or other things that are haram, like eating haram meat, for example, are all things that are fun, enjoyable, but there's a very easy supplementation to them. They're all means to something else. But
like, you mean you can do something else for
if you want to have fun and socialize with weed, you can do other things. If you are struggling not finding a halal restaurant, okay, you can be vegan, bro. It's not going to kill you.
Eat some salmon,
But there's
Fish be
no
busting.
there's no halal substitute for a relationship besides a relationship.
Yeah.
And people, like, at the end of the day, like, I when I was single, I really hated when people beat around the bush. People say stuff like, work harder, work out, be tired. All of these things are true, but truthfully, none of these things are pure supplements. These are all stoppages.
Yeah, they're stopgaps. It's not supposed.
It's not
I don't think
supplements.
anyone giving that advice was like, this is going to sustain you for your entire life.
Well,
if you
people
do
act
this.
like it when they tell like kids in college, you're not going to get married until you finish your degree.
Yeah.
So you know, like, what do you mean? You want me to work out for 10 years? What if you're like in medical school?
Yeah.
You want me to just kill myself for 10 years? You know?
Yeah.
So like it is difficult.
It is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I guess if I could just give like a corny bit of spiritual advice, not that I'm anyone to give it, but just something that helped me. I mean, it lessened what could have been a lot worse. There is an immense value and extreme importance in lowering your gaze.
Santo.
If you are, you know, hard appreciating every look and taking multiple looks of things, you're messing yourself up. You're like, what's the expression? I don't remember the expression, but literally you're making it harder for yourself.
I have an expression.
You're
actually.
making it more difficult for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's not always gonna work, and that's not like this freaking like magic wand that you just wave it and then everything stops and everything is better. But it does help, and that's me speaking from like personal experience.
I will say, like, on top of that, very, very true, because voice crack. Very true. God, I hate these allergies. Whatever. Sexuality, right, is like a natural flame within you, right? Mm-hmm. Like, let's say there's like, it just bear with me if you're listening. Whether you're a man or woman, just imagine like there is a flame within you, right? And this flame is like always going to be.
This sounds cool.
There, you know, it's like a small fire, and the fire is constantly burning, and there's wood supplying the fire. There's a normal level to this fire, right? There's a healthy, natural level to it.
Yeah. Wood
is a natural thing you find in nature, and it feeds the fire.
It fuels it, yeah.
And fire isn't a bad thing. Fire provides warmth, safety. It can protect you. It can cook your food. And the same thing with sexuality.
And it can also cause forest fires.
It
can also burn whole fields of crops away.
Fire can be used to keep you warm, and if you get too close to the fire, it can burn your hand. Mm-hmm. So that's sexuality. And when I'm using the metaphor of wood, I'm like, wood is a normal source of fuel for the fire, you know? The reason I mention that is because, like, sometimes, like, in the West, for example, it's very common right now, like, even in school and stuff, kids are told watching porn's normal, mm-hmm. right?
And
like
healthy.
It's healthy, normal, educational. And it's like, listen,
your ancestors, I don't know about educational, but like
people will say that.
Okay, yikes.
Your ancestors never watched pornography, and they didn't need any help because you're here today.
Yeah.
You know, like, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And men at this time in the world, men have never been so single. So tell me why, if porn is so helpful, tell me why at a time where porn is so rampant, men who are sexually active, like, the number is actually really low. Mm-hmm. Many men cannot get in a relationship. But back in the day, like, what was porn back in the day is just what's on the cover of buildings.
Yeah.
You know? So that is gasoline to the fire. Like, pornography and all this other stuff is gasoline to the fire, and it gets out of control. And you need to get to a point where your fire is just the normal, natural, sustained fire.
It's not altered. No altered fire. No chemically altered fire.
No gasoline on the fire. And that's what, like, and people, when I say porn, people think like, okay, just technical pornography. But I think that, like, Instagram, social media.
No, yeah. Following, like, Instagram models following, like, women you should not be following on your Instagram. Yeah. You know, if you're a man. There's just models, like, even if they're not doing a lot of things that other people are doing, you should probably just cut down on it. Even if there's honestly, even if there's a girl in your school that you think is really cute and you're like just following her.
If you get excited when she posts a picture,
exactly,
when she posts on her story, that's a red flag.
Yeah,
because you're following her for a reason.
Shut it down.
Get rid of the gasoline. Take the gasoline away from the fire. Make sure your fire is fueled by just wood, and that is just your brain. And your brain's enough, brother. You don't need help.
Yeah,
and think that will improve things. And people are like, oh, I'm really struggling. But it's like, if you're struggling and your fire is just fueled by wood, that's a good struggle. Like that's what kind of makes you a man.
The reason why I don't like the prescription of, if you're feeling this way or you're thinking about this, mut'a, which is a prescription that a lot of people are fond of giving, especially to young boys, is because it doesn't give you that grit, and it doesn't give you the chance to learn to control yourself with the natural burning wood, like you were saying. Remember? So you said you almost feel like that's part of being a man.
Well, maybe not even. I'm not even necessarily saying that. Like, I wasn't even thinking about it necessarily in the context of don't do mota or even
no. I'm not.
Oh no, not sorry, not like I didn't even necessarily mean it like in fighting your temptations. I mean like just feeling sexually frustrated and sitting in discomfort is what it means to be human being a man. And like all these other behavior, like whether you're rushing for a mutta or rushing to porn.
Sitting in that, you are fighting it.
Yeah, and like even whether you're rushing to mutta or rushing to pornography, whatever, to ease your struggles is you avoiding discomfort. And obviously you cannot hold on to discomfort forever.
Yeah, and this is not to say that mutta doesn't have a place either. Like, don't misunderstand me. I just think we are oftentimes, especially like older guys to younger men, oftentimes far too liberal in the prescription of, bro, just get a mutta, bro.
Yeah, I was told that like it was nothing.
It's easy, bro.
And again, like the sad truth is to trigger a lot of people. Like it's actually kind of really bad if you really think about the damage we're doing, in the sense of people don't know even the ethical side of mutta. They just know the technical scripture side, but the technical scripture side actually comes with other rulings with it. So with the number one, a lot of people are having muttas that are haram. If the mutta isn't correct, then you're not doing a mutta, you're doing zina. Right?
Yeah. Also,
which is what we're avoiding. And then the other aspect of it is, think about this. People have a bad thought about Shias, and they think Shia guys are running around the zina committing Muslims. Like you hear stuff about Shia dudes. I've heard stuff about like dudes who are like so timid and like kind and soft guys being like at an MSA, being like the only Shia guy, and other girls like, oh, that's all the Sunni girls like, oh, that's the Shia guy. Like,
he's about to.
He has like a bunch of he's like a dog, and the dude's getting there like, bro, you're not gonna come here and just mutta all of our sisters. And it's like the fact that they think like that, that on their side, that might be just some like anti-Shia rhetoric, but I'm sure there's also people going around and ruining the perspective of Shia Muslims because they're abusing something. Yeah.
Also, there's like, I don't know, I have seen the generation like before us, a lot of the men from that generation to this day are just not married.
Yeah.
Because they fell into this mut'a loop. And they're just,
it's a loop.
They're just in this like infinite loop of mut'a. And then at some point it's like, bro, why go through the difficulties of actually getting a permanent wife?
Yeah, because
having a relationship, building a relationship, keeping a relationship is difficult.
A relationship that is intended to last forever, yes, and that's why they get into it. It's because difficult. A short-term relationship doesn't have those problems.
And I don't know if this is the reason, but perhaps this is why it is half of our deen, because it's hard and it can be hard.
Just talking to somebody about this today, actually.
It is hard. It's not just now I can have my desires filled. There's a lot more to a relationship and maintaining a relationship than that. And sometimes you being spiritual is not you praying 100 rakats. Sometimes you being spiritual is you going to war when you're supposed to and coming back with PTSD and a missing arm. That's you being spiritual. Sometimes being spiritual is running around chasing after your daughter or your little child, taking care of them, making sure that they're fed, making sure that your wife is okay, and being in the worst mood, having the lowest amount of sleep. That's you being spiritual. And that's difficult. It is far easier to just jump from mut'a to mut'a to mut'a to mut'a than to do that.
SubhanAllah. You weren't quoting anyone there, huh? No, those were
shout out,
shout out, yeah.
Shout out,
like, Takaya, shout out. No, that's SubhanAllah. Like, that's something I heard regarding spirituality was essentially spirituality is doing what Allah wants you to do. It's not the feeling. Yes, the intention, inshallah, maybe one day to enjoy
it, yeah.
the spirituality, but it is doing what you're supposed to be doing. And to the muta joint, it's a great conversation to have, and I think it's important to realize this because this is something that plagues everyone. This is like a Muslim problem, a non-Muslim problem, universal problem, and it's actually something very specifically specific to men. Sexuality is something developed. And your initial awakening sexual experiences are often the things that people keep going back to. So you have to be careful what you introduce to yourself
too, yeah.
Because part of the reason why you maybe see men who are like in their late 30s, early 40s still doing mutas is because maybe that was their first couple sexual experiences, and just the process of finding someone new is what's exciting to them. You would even
they've conditioned themselves.
And you even see, like, even if they got married, maybe a year later they're just like they're frustrated. They don't know why, because this specific ritual that they built up over the years is not being itched, because they're like, I'm not finding this girl and macking with her or doing any kind of game. I'm not spending any game. I'm coming home and the kids yelling and my wife's just not wearing any makeup and just chilling at the house. And I'm just not fulfilled. And it's like, well, it's not because your wife isn't beautiful. It's not because you don't have a good life. It's because you made a ritual for yourself. That's your new standard. And now you can't do that.
Yeah.
SubhanAllah.
Anyway, so that was one question that got a little deep.
But in essence, like pursue getting married as much as you can. Keep relying on Allah, and practice all the annoying things that are true, like lowering your gaze and stay away from females in general. Period. Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly, a lot of the questions, it looks like we're basically like staying away from temptation. Like, yeah, literally it's like temptation.
Because it's and as one of the questions here says, it's literally all around us. I think that what helps me is like small things, and I even asked my friends for help with this recently. Bro, you gotta turn on my mic, bro. I'm out here spitting like an MC.
Good.
Thank you. Like a lot of people, for example. No, sorry. Backtrack. So like this is even something that like we all struggle with, and like what I try to do is I try to make sure like in my habits in my day-to-day life, I do things that kind of like try to remind me of my taqwa at least. So like for example, I used to listen to like a lot of music on my way to and back from work. And I'm like, I already listened to a lot of music at the gym. I need to do something during my commute that's at least religious.
Yeah.
So I'd hit like my homie chats, like, hey, send me like a lecture series. I have to learn something. Like I'm driving hours.
Yeah.
Every day.
That's a great way to learn stuff. I was gonna go on a tangent, but I don't want to interrupt you. Continue.
I appreciate that. SubhanAllah. I'll let you go. I'll just add like not even to learn, literally just to remind yourself and just to feel spiritual. And I know feeling spiritual isn't the goal, but like sometimes feeling spiritual is like that thing that feels like taqwa.
Yeah. And
you know?
and it gives you that boost to actually do things that make you spiritual.
Yeah.
You know,
Like you're more likely to make your salat on time if, for example, you already felt spiritual because that lecture reminded you of, you know, the day of judgment.
Yeah.
Taybit.
Subhanallah. I was gonna say for learning, and this is not religious at all, but like I remember when I used to drive a lot, I'd listen to like these cassette tapes with like Arabic conversations on them, and I just like listened to them nonstop, and that's kind of how I improved my Arabic. It was pretty interesting. Yeah, there's one specific question. I think we can answer this one, and then we could probably start wrapping up. Because I think this is also a pretty good question, and it's kind of relevant too. So it says sticking to halal haram, basically boundaries or rules, even when around non-Muslim classmates, friends, etc. Sorry. TBH, I don't really have that many non-Muslim friends, but I have had, like, obviously I've had classmates and stuff, and sometimes, I mean, I'm not like vibing with them, but outside of class, and there'd be nothing wrong if I did, but anyways, something that has helped me is honestly I'm a big fan of being, and I think everyone should be, and everyone is, people just don't always understand the merit of it, but being proactive rather than reactive. So something that helped me from the jump was like, if I met someone that I didn't know, somehow within a conversation, I'd like bring up, and I try not to force it, but sometimes it'd just be forced. I'd be like, oh yeah, you know, I'm Muslim. They'd be like, oh, you're Muslim. And so they know, they have like, most people have a vague idea that Muslim follows some kind of like rules, right? And so it's much different when you tell someone that from the beginning versus when they find that out like by coincidence after they've done, you know, however many things with you, and they just have this assumption that you're just like them. I think it makes it easier. I think it makes them feel more comfortable pressuring you into things that you are not comfortable with as well, right? So if I meet you and I don't know that you have any kind of like specific rulings or specific boundaries that shouldn't be crossed, and you're just the same guy as me, and we spend this time together, we haven't even been doing anything wrong, but we spent this time together, and I just have never found out. Then somehow it comes up, coincidentally, I find out, I see your sister or something. And then I'm like, hey, bro, I didn't know you were this. I really want to take you to this party, though. You should come.
Let's go for drinks. Like,
exactly. Let's go for drinks, bro.
Yeah.
Let's go. And instead of setting that boundary from the beginning and then being like, oh, from the beginning, most normal people would be like, hey, me and my friends are going to be doing X, Y, Z. I don't know if you're down with it. Like, most people are going to respect that, even if they don't necessarily know the boundary that they're respecting either. Like, they'll be like, I know Muslims vaguely, so maybe let me just ask instead of like putting it on them, you know?
But you know what's funny is that one guy who's like, I know you're Muslim, but my boy Muhammad gonna be there. Like, the dude's like, yeah, there's gonna be drinks, bro. Come. Like, I'm Muslim, bro. I'm not discriminating. You know, like, to him, he's being like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I know. Come on, I need that drink. You know what I'm saying? You probably have a little bit more experience because I dropped out college. You know, I was like, I can't do this.
Uh-huh.
But like, at least I do the same thing, I guess, subconsciously with my coworkers. I just bring up a Muslim, or like, if you work with me, like, I'm gonna pray in front of you, so I'll be like, hey, I'm not planning a bomb. Can I make salat here? I'm just gonna pray real quick. Oh, do I have to leave the room? I'm like, dude, I don't care. I just don't want you to be fearful. I'm sharing this space with you. Like, I have to ask, like, are you okay with
courtesy. Like.
Yeah. Also, I think there's like a ruling even, like, you know, if you're praying on land that's not yours, you have to, if you can't find the owner, at least ask someone. I mean, that's like, that has some kind of right to it or something. That's my understanding. And he's like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I just think it's not crazy. I'm not just gonna bust out making us a lot. Like, they might just get freaked out by that. It's kind of alarming, you know. Like, hey, anyways, Muhammad. And they ask me a question. I'm just like, dude's praying. Like, that's weird. I
remember one time we had like an exterminator here.
Yeah.
He was like spraying around the house for like bugs and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he was like a really friendly dude. And he finishes from outside and then he walks inside and then we're all praying. He's like, he like cracks open the door. He's like, I'm done. Like, you know, all jolly and merry. And then he walks in the door. He's like, oh.
It's like 8 people lined up. And he's like, did I disturb?
Exactly.
Did I disturb the prayer?
And then he like quietly like closes the door and
That's
walks
hilarious.
out. Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah. So like, I mean, yeah, doing like that is important. And then like, I guess knowing yourself in the sense of like, if you really struggle with that when you have done with some friends, have friends that support your goals.
Yeah.
Period.
Have friends that support your goals.
That's it. Like,
and then also like, don't put yourself in compromising positions. You know?
Yeah, that's enough of it too. Yeah.
Like a lot of the times people will have a bad feeling about something that's going to be done. And it's not like these people are doing anything that's illegal. It's not like these people are doing anything that's necessarily like super morally wrong or super morally bad. It's just not, sometimes it's just either really not aligned with what you're supposed to be doing as a Muslim, or it's like slightly like, maybe it's something that might lead to something.
If it makes you like ponder, you know what I'm saying? It's usually like that.
So
it's something very
simple. They'll have those moments of ponderance, and they'll just ignore that intuition. Bro, trust your gut, bro.
Yeah, if it like makes you think, just maybe it's better. And sometimes we push past that because little shaitan inside you that's locked up during Ramadan.
Get lit. Yeah,
it's about to get lit up here. Like if you have like a female classmate, and you're like, oh, she's pretty cute. Maybe she's like, oh, you want to walk me to my car?
Yeah.
Like, it's not zina, you know.
Baby.
I'm just walking her to her car.
I'm not touching her.
But you know, if I got to spend a single extra second with her, like that's like you got to be real with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta, and like if you're asking that question, you obviously care enough. So like have those conversations with yourself. Like this is like my metaphor. Know your devil. You know what I'm saying? Like
know your devil.
And I think there's like a quote like that. Like you have to know your demons.
Also, it's good. Again, it's good to have friends like Matthew said that actually do align with your goals, because whenever something like this would happen, and maybe I'd have an intuition or maybe have a thought and I ignored it, and say nothing happened, but like, yeah, I walked that girl to her car. I talked to Matthew about it. I talked to my friends about it. They're like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing?
That you walked her to her car. This never happened. I'm saying he's a great guy, but hypothetically, like, you walked her to your car because you liked her.
Yeah.
You're not walking your old man to his car. You're not helping a senior citizen.
You on some level, you're also acknowledging the potential of something to happen.
And you're curious.
Yeah.
You know, like, that'll be lit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
absolutely.
You're flirting. You're playing with fire, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
You're with that fire.
Playing with that gasoline. Bro.
Yeah, like you're like, the gas is not on it. I'm just have the gasoline just in case the fire goes out. You're bringing the gas because the fire. Like, let me sprinkle some gas on there. Like, don't sprinkle gasoline on the fire because the fire goes whoosh.
And then it'll catch you.
It'll catch you, burn your hand. And like when I say like know your devil, like that's part of that's just like being really real with yourself. Some things like everyone's different. Mm-hmm. You know, like some people cannot go to the gym. Like some people the gym really bothers them. I understand it. Some people they can't go to the gym. Like for example, I love the gym. Mm-hmm. I really like the gym. It helps me in every area of my life. I spent like I think 2 hours the other day at the gym, and I was like, I've been here too long. I'm trying to get out, right? You know what I'm saying? But like, if you're like, I'm trying to make some gains, oh, the gym is bad for me, but I'm just trying to work out, then just don't go to the gym. Like, know yourself and know you're trying to convince yourself into that thing just because you want to play with some fire.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah. No, I had something else to say about friends, right? Like, I understand that if you already have friends with someone, it's hard to break their friendship. I'm not I'm not advocating people you just break off your friendships, but you should have friends for a specific reason. And honestly, someone just only being nice isn't reason enough for someone to be a close friend. Mm-hmm. You have to know yourself, and if you know that you're malleable and you're weak in some areas, and having a certain friend can be problematic for you, then you don't need that friendship. Yeah, you need to be friends with people who bring you up in some way.
Or you need to put a lot of distance, and maybe not physical distance or like emotional distance necessarily, but you need to like construct boundaries and like hard boundaries. Yeah, which will by itself alter the nature of a relationship.
Of course,
like naturally,
You know, if you make it clear to someone that you're not okay with something that you used to be okay with, sorry, that's automatically gonna change the way that you and that person interact with that thing. And maybe you guys don't interact as much because all you guys did was that thing. You know? So it's something that naturally occurs.
Yeah, and I think like something that's just like, I don't understand how people, so many people are going to be so triggered. I feel like the sisters get the most triggered by this question. Like every time we ask like in youth circles and stuff, I feel like women are most delusional when it comes to this particular circumstance. Get ready to cancel me.
Okay.
Men and women cannot be friends, bro. I'm gonna die on that hill. Like for the most part, they cannot. I can't say for the most part if I'm gonna die on the hill, but like I'm willing to suffer on the hill. I'm not gonna die on the hill. But it's like people acting like she's just a friend. He's just a friend. Like, what's a friend? Because I want to hang out with this ain't all the time. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of weird if you're a girl. Like, I want to always hang out with you.
That Biz Marquee song?
No.
Oh, baby, you got what I need.
When you say it's just a friend.
Yeah.
When you say it's
and basically
just
the
a
whole
friend,
song.
I'm like, oh.
The whole song is about this dude who meets a girl. And she's always around dudes that she says are just friends. And then he goes to visit her at university. And she's like, and they're together. And she goes to visit her at university. And she's with another guy.
Yeah, this whole like having loose relationships with the opposite gender is that if other things are gasoline, then that's C4. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
And like, here's the thing: people say like, no, she's really just a friend. She helps me out with stuff, and it's always an attractive female. Like, I don't believe you, bro. Get like, this sounds awful, but get like a very unattractive friend.
Like maybe I'd believe you
because your friends, your dude friends are all ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like you have friends with dudes who got unibrows and looking rough and uncut, and you don't care because those are your friends. You crack it up with your boys. Yeah. So stop acting like this girl over here is just your friend, bro. Like, you friend, inshallah, more to you. Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying. I see it all the time. And I see it like, I see such depths of this delusion. Like, we know people. Like, I see people who are just like so deep. Like, well, on God, on everything. I'm like, on everything, you're delusional. Like, people are just so adamantly saying she's just a friend. I'm
like, if she didn't say like, hey, you want to be more, they wouldn't jump at the chance, you know?
Yeah, you jump. You jump. You say how high. Like, if she said jump, like, stop lying to yourself, bro. And girls do it too. But, and this is a different episode because we're
so girls do it too.
I was gonna
but girls are just satisfied with that friendship, whereas guys aren't.
Yeah, girls are satisfied with the flirtation aspect of it.
Exactly.
Because generally speaking, this is just a generalization, women really, really appreciate the emotional aspect of it. Like the guy guys care because they care, but for men, their caring is transactional to more. And this is, I'm not saying it's right. This is how men think. I care about her. Oh, I do these things for her. She called me because she had a fight with her boyfriend. She called me because she had a fight with her dad. She's having a panic attack. She's calling me. Okay, that caring after money in the bank, basically. It's money in the bank. I'm caring for you 6 months.
Now right? I expect.
Now I want all the care I gave to you from you in this way, because that's how it kind of translates from men. And it's wrong because men and women never have this kind of open contract relationship where they actually say, hey, for me, emotional care is sexual.
Yeah.
But that's how it is for men.
That's why it's wrong. It's because
that's why it's wrong. Yeah.
It's the assumption that there is this understanding when really there's not this understanding, and then it's like you're holding things that you did for this woman for that purpose over her head as if she's supposed to compensate you for it.
And men get like red pill, black pill upset over this stuff because like to men it's obvious. Like if you talk to a normal guy. And he breaks down a scenario. Been talking to this girl. She calls me every night when she's upset. I emotionally help her with all this stuff. If the guy makes a move, says I want more, and she says no, he is like literally like inside he was expecting a yes. Yeah. Because that's how men like understand this kind of stuff. And it's maybe because men don't usually open up very much emotionally. Like that kind of stuff to us is just from a woman. It's just different.
I mean, it's cause like you said, it's cause we're having these loosey goosey relationships. And when I say loosey goosey, I mean that nothing's defined. When you sit down and you're getting your nikah done, there's a contract, right? Everyone knows what role they're playing in that relationship. Yeah. There's no ambiguity about what's going on here. Yeah. But when you're in this friendship and you're just like, oh, we're just friends,
vibing,
and nothing is defined, and like
this could mean a lot of things.
This is where this is where all the wires get crossed. To the girl, you're not in a relationship. To the dude, he's putting in all this emotional work so that he can get something.
For what?
And be in a relationship. For what? And then there's this conflict. There's this conflict at the end of it, and it's like, this is why y'all are idiots.
And again, like people get heartbroken about things, and it's like, just think like how stupid it is. Because what I'm saying is like, people are being heartbroken and having their like insides ruined from things that aren't even set in stone. Like this, like you said, like these loosey goosey parameters. Like dudes really have their hearts broken over girls who they never even told a girl they want to be with. Do you understand how crazy that is? Men are having, and I'm like, we're crazy for this, right? Like we are having our heart broken by a woman without ever telling this woman from the get-go,
or ever having a conversation.
You attractive. Yeah. I find you attractive. I do not see you as a friend. I would like to be an emotional and sexual partner.
Yeah. I mean,
you would never phrase it like that.
They just delude themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, they'd be like, oh, this woman must treat me so bad. So this, so that. And it's like, maybe she did, but also women don't even think like this. Yeah. They don't.
You guys were operating from two very different perspectives.
Yeah.
And there was no conversation had about how you're going to reconcile the difference in these perspectives. And so what happened is you got hurt and she was fine. And that's no one's fault. That's no one's fault but your own.
Yeah.
And that's like,
or at least each other. Like you're both responsible.
Or both you guys are at fault. I'm sure. Yeah. But that's the issue with these like red pill guys. They never take that. They never take that part. And they're oh yeah, bro.
Women not have
female nature.
Listen, G.
They're just gonna break your heart, bro.
They just wanna use you all up. And then when you ask for what you deserve, they wanna leave you. It's like again, women are naive for thinking, yeah, he just wanted me as a friend. But still, you're also you're stupid, dude.
No, I mean, they were probably like, oh, he's
such
getting
a nice guy.
He's getting the same fulfillment and the same enjoyment from this that I'm getting. And yeah, I'm sure he was getting some, but it was not the same.
5%.
It was not the same.
Yeah,
it was not the same.
and dude, this is great. We have to keep flowing with this. Like, what's really crazy again is I talk to people about marriage, and they act like I'm crazy. I talk to some people even about muta, right? Like some people. God, this is like a really shit podcast. Like I'm sure like some of Sony listening is like not getting some of the aspects of this, but just bear with me, right? Like some people I try to convince about like marriage or like a temporary marriage, which is a muta, right? If you don't know, and they're like, it doesn't matter. A relationship is a relationship. And like, I'm like, no. And then some people I'm explaining to them why it's different. They're like, why is it different? I'm like, because it's a contract, because you have to write some stuff in stone.
And they're what's the difference between me just having a girlfriend? Like that's,
and they're like convinced. Exactly. What's the difference? I'm like, because it's literally written in stone. Yeah. That is the difference. And between man and woman, that's necessary because our brains are literally not wired the same, bro. You can, and like men and women can always call each other crazy because to each other we literally see things differently. Even if you find the most logical woman ever and you're the most logical man, at some point both of y'all are gonna think the other person is crazy because y'all don't think the same, bro. Things mean differently to each other, right? Yeah. Like, and that's why you have to write something in stone.
That's from person to person, and then especially like between the sexes, even like if it's from person to person, male to male or female to female.
Yeah.
Imagine between female to male or male to female.
When you have a contract, though, you go back to that piece of paper when you guys are both fighting, and you're like, okay, we both read this, we both agreed to these statements. And
This
that's
is
a difference.
This is how we're gonna resolve our conflict.
Yeah.
You know.
This is what the relationship is. This is who's paying for these. And these are like the most important things in life. When we think about marriage, we think when there's like a study done on like the things that cause divorce most, or the things that couples fight about most, it's finances. Okay, what does a marriage contract have? A marriage contract talks about who provides.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so you're telling me Islam, which requires a marriage contract, is crazy for taking care of the biggest obstacle for all people who are married? And you're asking me why marriage is different? Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Islam is the key to all your problems, but you want what's easy because it is funner. It is more fun to be loosey-goosey.
Absolutely.
Because it's chaotic. Like, let's be fair, right? It's chaotic and it's nice to be like, I don't know, we're still figuring things out. Like that's cool and all, right? But it's not practical and it's not good for longevity. If you're living for a month, yeah, bro, like, oh, I'm sure, like, do it, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, you're not, bro. Like,
you're not living. Or at least, inshallah,
you're not an insect. You know what I'm saying? Like a fly lives for like 24 hours, right? Like you in and out. But like humans, you want things situated well for you, bro. You're gonna wake up and be like, who is this woman in my life?
Yeah.
I don't know who she is. I don't know how things are managed. She's ruining my life, or vice versa for a woman as well, right? Like, who is this guy that I trusted to get this close to me? Now who's ruining everything? How many people in awful situations do we see? And then someone are thinking about this being critical. They're like, I know a lot of divorced people who are in bad circumstances. That's true. They could have also signed a prenup. They could have also Islamically written things and extra things in your contract. You can do that. Yeah. If they didn't do that, that's them not using the contract that Islam gave.
Or it's just them not there's also a whole there's a whole section of marriage that happens before you're actually married. And if in that phase you're just not talking about important things, or like not spotting red flags when you should be spotting red flags, then yeah, your marriage is probably not going to be good.
Yeah.
But that's not the fault of the system. That's the fault of you.
Yeah, like your personal problem. Yeah. And again, it's like, these are just tools. The logical inconsistencies are what bother me. And when people say they're upset about something, like, I have an issue, like I talked to so many people who are like, I have an issue with Islam. It says this thing, does that thing. Why? I'm like, what do you mean why? You don't want to do this thing because you don't want to do the thing. Yeah. You're not curious about the answer.
You don't care about why.
You don't care. Yeah. You just want a reason to feel okay and sleep at night for why you don't do the thing that you should be doing. Like, why you ask? Like, when people come to you and ask you to explain something to them, not because they're less knowledgeable and they think you're more knowledgeable, but because they're like, if he can't give the answer, I'm just not going to do it. That's my justification.
Exactly. Yeah.
Talk to a sheikh, bro. Talk to a sheikh, bro. I work in IT and I have a podcast. I'm not a scholar. Yeah. Stop asking us.
Stop asking us.
There are people who dedicate their lives specifically for people like us who have questions for them about the religion.
Go to them.
So go to them. If you're going to your Muslim family members who you perceive as more religious than you, when truthfully they're probably just as sinful, just so you could justify why you don't practice the religion, you're being an idiot. Go to the sheikhs, bro, who are knowledgeable.
Yeah. We covered a lot, huh? And Matthew's voice went all hoarse.
Like, go to the sheikh, bro. Go.
I think right there is a beautiful place for us to wrap it up.
Now let's keep going.
You can barely speak.
Go. There's been Call of Duty Ramadan days.
I know.
What are you doing in the corner?
This is one of our longer episodes. Yes, inshallah, we will have some really good clips posted from this episode, and I hope you guys show some love to it. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please go to patreon.com/Thoughtful Banter and follow us there. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and all the content that we've been producing recently. Once again, shout out to our patrons that have been supporting us: Ali, Ahmad, Latifa, Ali, TJM, Justin, and Muhammad. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We will be back soon. Peace.
Assalamu alaikum.